Okay, welcome to Ora's Digest. So the other day I was quite concerned about the president's promise during his campaign. It's all about bottom-up economy, the hustlers. So I wanted to look at his speeches and how much he includes the hustlers and bottom-up philosophy in his speech. So I went to the president's website, president.go.ke, and I found a list of all the speeches he's made since he assumed office to date. So in my efforts to figure out, what he's talking about, the common words he used, I fell upon some stunning thing, which was grammatical errors in his speech. I'm like, how does the president end up with errors in his speeches? I think it's supposed to be someone in charge of writing the speech and for that. This is a speech released on 19th of April 2023 about the situation in Sudan. So I started noting what is likely to be grammatical errors in this speech. And as you can see on this other side too, I'm like, okay, hold on. So started off with using of prepositions. For example, Sudan Armed Forces has degenerated into violent conflict, into a violent conflict. There's another one here about a third paragraph, the indiscriminate deployment of lethal weapons and air power by both RSF and SAF has targeted military and non-military targets. It's not has, it's supposed to be have. Plural. Then another misuse of plural instead of are using is, past tense, using of past tenses, using and, there, are, and all highlighted in here. I like Grammarly cost $120 a year, which can pick up all these problems. But then I thought about there's something also interesting here that you can read about. And there's a story. In World War II, there used to be something which was later known as a typing fist. So it was discovered that when telegraphs were being used, each person or each communicator had a rhythm on how they type the typewriter. And the Allied forces came to realize they discovered the rhythm of Hitler's typewriter. So he had a certain rhythm. If you think about it, if you get two people to type the same sentence on a keyboard, some will type some words slower, others faster, and they realize everyone has a typing rhythm. And they used to listen, and every time they could detect Hitler's typing rhythm, they knew a very important order was coming through, and they would intercept that telegram. Now, the same way, we can tell who actually wrote this particular speech. And one of the things I found interesting is the omission of prepositions. For example, there would be like, as government, not as a government, or as the government. So it omits that. It's a much more direct way of speaking. Which language do you think speaks that way? Which omits prepositions? Your guess is as good as mine. Another thing that I found interesting in another speech was something known as an Oxford comma. Now, an Oxford comma is never taught until the level of master's degree. It's when you are listing things, and how we taught our grammar is that you list thing and the last item you just add and. But an Oxford comma, you put a comma even on the and for that. It tells you that person has a graduate degree information. So we can tell the tribe, we can tell the level of education. Something else that was quite interesting. So I decided to look at the speeches between the ones when President Ruto travels out of the country and the ones when he's local. The local speeches have way more grammatical errors than the ones when he's in the foreign speeches, which could mean that there are two different people or two different people writing the speech. I like this person who's very poor on past tenses. Instead of spoke, he writes spoken. This is on still on Sudan, but this is released on the 24th of December for this. So you can actually track how some of this. So I believe the president has two speechwriters, or there's someone different who writes the speeches. We need an office of the spell checker. Someone who can sit down and ensure the president's speeches at least meet the basic grammatical structures of the language he speaks. Or maybe we can call this African English or Kenyan English. or not care about English at all. Yeah, so that was a speech the president delivered at Kenyatta University Referral Hospital during the launch of, I think it was called the Cyber Knife. And, I was running the president's speech as it goes and the written speech for him published on the website. And then I realized this president actually improvises and skips some of those errors and even skips different sentences, because I think the speechwriter does not match the president's mood and how he likes to write. So there's need for the office of the spell checker, and I'm applying for it. Thank you. Until next time. Sasa vijana, by the end of next week, kutakuwa na office ya spell checker. Aya, asanteni.